Hi, I'm Leanne Ely. I'm a nutritionist, a New York Times best-selling author, and some people even say I'm a life coach. I started the Daily Dish Show to share my story, my truth, and my journey to vibrancy, and to inspire others to do the same. Because it's all about grit, perseverance, and finding a way despite the odds. It's about embracing the whole woman, not just the parts that are easy to love, and feeding her heart, mind, body, and soul. But I found that this isn't just my story, it's your story too. It's go time. This is the Daily Dish. I really like this whole discussion. I love this whole thing. Our theme this week has been connecting the dots. And this one to me was like a big, I love when my head blows off. That sounds really ridiculous, but you know exactly what I'm talking about. So you got to check it out because today really is good. We're going to give you some stuff that you are going to be able to take home and use. Actionable, actionable, actionable. So when we're connecting the dots on our habits, changing the emotional obstacles into emotional wins, that's what we're talking about today. That's the biggie. Now that's a transformation. You know, it's sort of like the emotional obstacle over here is like a little caterpillar, and the emotional win over here is a butterfly. I like that because, you know, butterflies are beautiful, can fly away. They don't just, you know, slime around on the ground. They don't, you know, they're done transforming. The metamorphosis is complete. And what if, I'm asking you this question, and can you imagine taking things that you are emotionally invested that are such a big obstacle in your life and having them become instead emotional wins, emotional fire for you getting those habits down pat? Huh? Pretty cool, right? Well, BJ Fogg, who's the author of Tiny Habits, and again, if you haven't read it, it's fantastic, fantastic book. And he said emotions create habits. That's interesting. Not repetition, not frequency, and not fairy dust or unicorn dust, as I like to say. But here's the thing that we have to understand. I really love that he said this, but it isn't. Repetition is part of it, right? Hi, Margot. Hi, Jane. Flynn. Repetition is part of it. Frequency is part of it. And that's the thing that we hang our hats on. But what he says, it's emotion that creates habits. So let's unpack this and see exactly what that looks like. First of all, I'm going to give you an example that you can totally relate to, okay? And that's social media. Social media becomes habitual. And for some people, it becomes really a problem. It is created to do exactly that, to keep you scrolling, to keep you clicking ads, to keep you doing all this stuff. And, you know, no lie, we use ads at Saving Dinner. Yeah, we do. And we have an ad team. We work on this, like what is going to make it stickier? What's going to make it better? And the reason that we do this is because, you know, we know that, well, we want to bring more people in, of course, and this is what causes vibrancy in a business. Hi, Marianne and Susan. Vibrancy in a business is just as important as vibrancy in a relationship, vibrancy in your health journey, vibrancy in everything. A business, in order to thrive, needs to be vibrant. It needs to be bringing in new customers and sustaining and keeping current customers. And we call them lovelies because we go beyond the customer relationship. And when somebody's missing, we know that. You know, that's why we greet you by name, because we want to have a relationship with you. We don't look at you as a transaction. We look at you as a friend, and there's a relationship there. But the thing is that there's an emotional thing. There's an emotional button being pushed on purpose in social media. They're going to feed you exactly what it is that you habitually look at. So if you're all up into, you know, doing a bunch of political stuff, you're going to get a bunch of political stuff in your feed. If you're all into butterflies and caterpillars, watch your feed fill up with butterflies and caterpillars. If you go and look on Nordstrom and decide that you're going to buy a pair of boots. This happened to a friend of mine. Those boots are going to show up in your feed too. This is what they do. They're trying to capture, they're trying to get into your head. It's called AI, artificial intelligence. And it's really good at duplicating the way that we think and the way that our habits show up. And our social media habits are just such a great example of how habits are formed. There is an emotional component to social media, whether you're stirring the pot or not. You're seeing the kittens and you're going, oh, or the leaping little goats, oh, all of your friends and their pictures of their children and grandchildren, oh, versus somebody over here who's raging because they're, all involved in whatever. It's interesting though, but we kind of cultivate and subject our own emotion onto social media. Social media picks this up and then gives you more of the same. That's the wisdom, if you will, behind social media. So they're designed to do that, and there's no accident that people can accidentally, and I have done it, you've done it, we've all done it, end up spending hours scrolling on the phone, scrolling on your laptop, whatever, and then we get these notifications on your iPhones now. You spent X amount of hours on your phone last week, or your phone use was up 30% or whatever. And I'm just like, throw it away, burn it, get rid of it. I don't want my life to be about that. But I mean, this is all beside the fact, but this is how our habits are then automated and looked at and created again to keep you coming back. It's a habit. Right? Don't you wish everything was so easy? Don't you wish that it was just like that was your habit for getting up and working out and doing the sprint and then blah, 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 blah. It was just like, that's easy. Instead of we get sucked into this whole idea of social media. So if we apply this though, emotionally charged secret sauce to our budding habits, especially the ones that don't seem to stick, we can start to change it up a little bit using some of BJ Fogg's tactics, which is really brilliant. So how do you harness then that positive emotion, that dopamine hit that you're getting from being sucked into social media or whatever it is? Isn't it pretty interesting? There's 3 steps. 1, 2, 3. Motivate, ability, and then trigger. Okay? Do I have your attention? Isn't this fascinating? I think this is like ooey gooey stuff to me. And really, they all fire at one time. And it's like a dance. This is how I like to look at it. It's like a dance. So first of all, we talk about motivation. We talked about this yesterday. Remember that? That we talked about motivation not being a force, but rather a response to the way we put into action some of this stuff. So it's the primary driver. Now, when I'm talking about the motivation is, what do you want? Right? What do you want? So to get to the thing that we want, then to respond to the thing, an action to the thing we want is maybe we're saying, I want to lose weight. I want to have less pain. I don't want to be taking medication anymore for all these things. I want to have vibrancy. I want all of the above, of course. But, with all of this, we understand, okay, if this is what I want, therefore, I need to stay the course on the sprint, right? We understand that because you watched the webinar last night, didn't you? That's what the webinar tells you. It just shows you exactly the science behind everything and what the why, and the setup and how putting all this together is going to give you in 7 days. At least it's not going to completely change your life, but it's going to change you so that you can see, hey, I can do this. It's not as tough as I thought. It's easier than I thought. And boy, am I getting results. I have less pain. In 7 days, yeah, sure. All the way gone? Probably not. Lose all the weight? Probably not. Get rid of all the medication? No, but at least you started and you're on your way. Amen? So your ability then determines if it's even feasible. This is where your mindset comes in, and that's in the eye of the beholder, right? beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Well, so is your ability in the eye of the beholder, right? You understand exactly what I'm talking about. That is, can I do this? Is it something I can stick with? Am I prepared for it? And I'm using the sprint as an example because I think it's an excellent one. You know, it's 7 little days. It's a week out of your entire life. Can you do this? 100%. Do you believe you can? Well, that's on you. Are you prepared for it? Again, on you. Have you printed out your guide? You know, and I'm going to hammer that one home. That's on you. I don't have a printer for you. You've got your own printer. Do I have what I need? Do I have the support and encouragement? Can I go all in? That's all your ability right there, by the way. That's your all of your ability. And guess what that does? It triggers even more motivation. It goes back to number 1, right? It does. And it sets on fire all of your why. It gets your why into the place of absolutely, remember, hot desire. Remember we talked about hot desire in a big way yesterday, because hot desire is what paves the way for motivation in the first place. It's what paves the way and answers this question for your ability. You're like, heck yeah, I can do that. I can do that. I can be prepared. I can be all in. I can join the Hot Melt Sprint group on Facebook. I can do all of this. Your ability and the way you think about if you can or cannot is going to do it. And then there's your trigger. And this one is my favorite. This one is the part that's going to ice the cake, folks. You ready for this one? Because I've been through all of this other stuff before, but this one, this is the juicy tidbit, okay? And that's the emotional setup right there. It's the emotional 2x4 that's going to get you exactly what it is that you want and keep you going. And it's all about the dopamine, baby. I'm telling you, all about the dopamine. Are you ready for this? So this is what BJ Fogg says you do. And this is a quote from him. As you do the behavior, you fire off a positive emotion. Say out loud, hey, you're doing great. Smile. And then this is the part that I put in with my own interpretation. Smile like a big toothy goofball, you know, like that kind of smile. And high five yourself. Yeah? High five yourself. Now, your brain is basically a 3-year-old, you know, loves this stuff. When I was a young mom, and I played a lot with my kids. I spent a lot of time with them and fun stuff. I was a homeschool mom. We had a really good relationship, and I just reveled in their young childhood. I thought it was fantastic. So when we'd go to the grocery store, you know, I'd have Peter in the grocery cart and Caroline standing next to me, and we'd be going down the grocery aisle, and of course they're playing some song like Madonna would come up, because, you know, they got rid of the awful music a long time ago. And I'd start dancing with the cart and pushing the cart and doing the pony or whatever. My kids thought it was a riot. They thought it was absolutely hilarious. And they'd say, do it again, Mom, do it again. And so people would pass. I'd say, wait. People would pass, and then we'd have the aisle to ourselves again. And I'd start doing the pony, pushing the cart, and Peter would be laughing out loud, and Caroline would be throwing her head back, just giggling nonsensically, and I'd be laughing with them. That's your brain. Your brain loves that. Your brain loves the big, goofy, toothy smiles. It loves it when you do the pony in the grocery store. All of this stuff is just what your brain wants. And when you're high-fiving yourself and you're you know, and you are connecting the fact that you did it with this emotional win, it is no longer an emotional obstacle. Mic drop. Does this blow you away? I'm telling you, I've got tears in my eyes. That's huge. That's huge. You know, we have so much power, so much more power, so much more strength inside of us. All we need to learn how to do is to take this weakness and transform it into a strength. Bada bing, bada bang, bada bing. I'm just going to start singing for you now. I mean, stop it. Those were the good old days, by the way, with my kids. I swear if we went to the grocery store and I started doing it, they would absolutely laugh their butts off. But this is the deal, you know? The emotional obstacles that we put up so that we do not complete the things that we say that we want to do. It's so defeating because it not only doesn't get you to your goal, but it also makes you feel like you're so much less than, when all we have to do is give our 3-year-old brains, the goofy fun stuff that they want. High five, yay! And look, you did it. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? You guys are all caught up in my story when you all did it too. But do that with yourself right now, today. Especially if you're starting the sprint on Monday or Vibrant Body Detox, whichever one you're starting. If you are wanting to go all in and you found yourself again, in 3rd day in, 4th day in, you're not, listen, start over. It's time for a clean, fresh slate, and look at it and say, you know what? You can do this. And get this, right? This is what the research used to tell us was 21 days to a habit. The new research says 66 days to a habit. Doesn't that make you want to scream? But let me tell you what BJ Fogg says. He says, if you get good at firing off that positive emotion, you can make a new habit stick in a couple of days. Stop it now. I mean, this is what I'm talking about. This is the most amazing thing I've ever heard. We don't have to be held back anymore from this stuff. We don't. A few days, folks. A few days to a new habit. Give me a high five. Come on. I mean, come on, everybody, where are my pinkies? Get some pinkies up. Pinkies up, pinkies up, pinkies up. Seriously, this is big stuff. This is the thing that's going to change all of it. All of it. We're simply going to turn around and be big, goofy smiles, big, toothy, goofy smiles, as big as we possibly can, high five ourselves. And I want you to do me a favor. I want you to start reporting and say, you know what? I high five myself today. I want you to start, I'm getting a bug. I want you to start doing this and watch how your sprint becomes just a rip-roaring success. BJ Fogg, this is his behavior model. He's studied this. He's a Stanford, professor. I met the guy. He's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. He knows this stuff inside and out. So he's been able to take this research, this 66 days to a habit research, and trash it and say, this is what you need to do. Connect the emotion to it. Allow for the dance, motivation, ability, and then the emotional bada bing, bada bang, all the way to the bank. That's it. And that's what makes it happen. I think it's still settling in and we're still in shock. I love this. Patsy says she gives herself a high five almost every day. And look at but Patsy, Patsy shows up lit. She does. That's one of the things that I love about you, Patsy. So this is everything. Mindset does change everything. That's right. It does. But this is everything because we can take the emotional obstacles that held us back and transform them into emotional wins. This is massive. I love this. Connect the dots on that, will you? Who's in? Do you want to go all the way in? Do you want to have a sprint like you've never had before? Like you can come back. And I'm not talking about being perfect. I'm talking about being excellent. I'm talking about having wins. I'm talking about you being able to get what it is that you want out of it. This is your sprint, your vibrancy, your life. This little bodysuit that we wear, it's just our vehicle for getting us around. And I don't know about you, but I want to get around. I want to be able to walk where I want to walk. I want to be able to climb where I want to climb. I want to take hikes with my dog and with Mark. I want to do things with my kids. I want to paddleboard with my cellulite thighs. You know, I want to do it all. You can't do it if you don't have vibrancy. You just can't. So it's time to connect the dots. It's time to step up. It's time to get into the place of saying, that excellent sprint, that's mine. I'm going to own it. And that emotional garbage that used to come at me and all the reasons why I can't do it, I'm done with that. Because I have the motivation, I have the ability, and boy, oh boy, do I ever have it in spades for the trigger. Boom, pull it. You ready? Let's do it. Alrighty, that's what I got. I hope you found that fun. I sure as heck did. I thought it was super, and it just made my eyes go boing right out of my head like a cartoon character. Pinkies up, and peace be with you. Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining me today. You can find me on TikTok for daily tips to help support your most vibrant life. And remember, you are the author of your own story. Until next time.